Welcome to this game overview of Voices in My Head, a board game set in a courtroom about gaining influence and shifting play to meet your individual goals. This game can be played with 3 to 6 players and is recommended for ages 12 and up. It plays over 8 rounds as players try to sway the jury to their favor. To set up, place the game board in the middle of the play area with the plastic platforms and their railings in place. There are holes on the board to guide this process. Shuffle the strategy deck and place it beside the planning region of the game board. Place the innocent guilty tokens in a pile above the game board. Place all the influence tokens face down and mixed up so no one knows what their faces are. Each player needs a role card. These can be assigned at random, however, the game always needs to have someone play the prosecutor. Some of the role cards are designed to only be used if there's a certain number of players in the game, so be sure to triage the cards before doling out the roles. Since the game needs a prosecutor, let's start with the prosecutor role card. Prosecutor gets the prosecutor screen and the Stage 1 and Stage 2 trial decks. The Stage 2 trial deck can be set aside for now, and the Stage 1 trial deck is shuffled and placed here behind the screen. The prosecutor draws 2 cards from this pile and places them face up where only they can see them for now. The prosecutor also gets the dark gray control marker set and the matching deployment stick. All other players also get a role card and the matching set of control markers and deployment stick. Players can also each get a reference sheet. Each player should also draw 2 strategy cards except for the prosecutor, who will never draw any of these cards. Strategy cards have unique abilities that can be used throughout the game in different ways, and each card explains how and when to play it. Finally, the prosecutor shuffles and draws 1 story card. They read the start trial side of the card aloud and follow the instructions on it. The instructions will include how to name the first player and which jurors start with which random influence tokens. When it comes to winning the game, each role card, including the prosecutor, describes different win conditions that must be met at the end of the game to qualify the player of a win or a loss. More than one player can win, just as more than one player can lose. In the story of the game, all players that are not the prosecutor represent different aspects of the defendant's personality, trying to influence the trial to come out according to their values. For example, Justice wants more guilty accusations than innocent. Rebellion wants 2 or more jurors to be undecided. Cowardice wants 2 or more innocent tokens. The prosecutor obviously wants more guilty than innocent tokens. Once you're all set up, you're ready to begin. Step 1. The prosecutor reads over the face-up side of the 3 trial cards in front of them and chooses one. They swap the cards around as needed to slide their chosen card through the small window in the middle of slot of their screen. All other players should only be able to see the icon at the top of the cards. These icons correspond to the regions of influence on the board. Step 2. The first player of the round deploys one of their control markers to any region on the board. The markers have different values on them, and depending on the player's goal, each person will choose a different region and value to deploy to. The prosecutor also deploys a marker, however, their markers have no value and therefore are more for pushing other players' markers around or even off the board. If any control marker gets pushed off their platform, their marker is destroyed and out of the game. Whomever has the most marker points, so the number of markers kind of added up total at the end, on that stage controls that region. Step 3. Once every player has deployed 1 control marker, the prosecutor resolves the trial card they chose at the top of the round. This will include decisions needed to be made by the player who controls the regions associated with the icons at the top of this trial card. If there is a tie or no one controls a region, the first player decide which player, or even themselves, gets to make the choice. Step 4. After resolving all the elements of the trial cards, the prosecutor discards that card and draws a new trial card. The player who controls the planning region gets to draw a strategy card. Step 5. The first player token gets passed clockwise and a new round begins, same as before. After the 4th round of using a Stage 1 trial card, the prosecutor replaces those cards with Stage 2 trial cards in the same arrangement. The game continues as before for 4 more rounds with the new deck of the Stage 2 trial cards. Finally, after the 8th trial card is resolved, the game comes to an end. The prosecutor flips over the story card chosen at the beginning of the game and reads the end of trial instructions. Once instructions are all resolved, the players reveal their role cards for all to see. The influence tokens on the jurors get revealed and resolved as well. Influence tokens of opposite stances cancel each other out, so they are removed from the board. For example, if these jurors here have 3 innocent and 2 guilty tokens, I would remove 2 guilty and 2 innocent tokens because they cancel each other out, leaving the jurors with an innocent verdict. Our gaming crew could certainly agree that we have never played anything quite like Voices in Our Head before. The concept and story are truly unique. The setup and flow of the game did take a bit of getting used to, but by the end it was coming around. The aspect of each player trying to achieve their own goal and being able to be one of many winners opened the door for alliances and enemies to be made very quickly. The mechanic of pushing the tokens on the board was new to us, as well as provided a nice bit of finessing skill that we usually don't get to do when we're playing board games. Our box expert did show some interest in joining the game, but he preferred this cardboard box over the game box. To get your copy of Voices in My Head to try out, check out the Comic Hunter or visit thecomichunter.net linked below. Happy gaming!